morning, good morning, good morning, YouTube viewers. Good morning, Facebook Nation. Good morning to all people, all colors, all races, all languages around the world. And on this day, may you have the most beautiful day. And for whatever goals that you have set forth for yourself on this beautiful day, may those goals come to fruition, and may those goals also be of benefit to all of humanity. So, we're in for it because I'm making 3 videos today, and this is going to be part one of a 3-part series. And the topic is entitled Broken System, Corrupt Algorithm. So before we start, once more, good morning. It's a beautiful day, and like I said, I'm coming out with more videos, not because of validation. So we get that straight. It's because of validation that these things need to be said in order that you can, best prepare yourself from the world in which we're actually seeing unfold before our eyes. So, when we speak of a broken system, I know everybody wants to stay on validation, but it's included in all of this. It's how you perceive yourself. So I want to start out like this, and I want to explain why we're living in a broken system, and some of us, and many of us, are following a virus, an algorithm from a corrupted system that has produced a virus, and that virus is spreading. So when we look at that virus, we're looking at things that make no sense. People acting out who were violent and never violent before. We're looking at, people taking advantage of people in the worst of ways. We're looking at so much corruption that's going on around us, and it's worldwide. And then we're looking at the dysfunction within relationships that all of a sudden everything is being exposed, and it's not for the better, because men are literally moving away from women, not to be with other men. Let's get that straight. But just the fact of they don't want to be bothered with the manipulation and the narratives. So a lot of women out here are not happy, and a lot of men are not happy, but we don't have discussion because of this broken, corrupt algorithm. So part one is you are a computer. And most of us, we look at ourselves and we feel biological because we're biological and we're physical. No, we're a biological computer. When you look at the sun, can you tell time from the sun? So the sun is also a mechanism. It's a biological computer, as well as the moon. The moon does certain things. We know when tide is high, and we know when tide is low. These are calculations. Anything that can be calculated, even the human body, is a computer. And this is why most of us don't wake up, because we've been sold this broken system that tells us that we're biological. That's it, no more, no less, which is the greatest lie. And part of becoming awake is to realize how this biological computer works. So I want to answer a question, because also you can get in touch with this biological clock within and formulate that clock, that computer, to work with the universal computer, which has laws that governs everything, and they can be calculated mathematically. So when we look at, I look at myself as a biological computer, and there's certain viruses that are being removed from this computer, and there's certain new programs that I'm installing to replace those broken viruses that came from this broken system that was implanted into me while I grew up through childhood. So, I know that's kind of deep, and I'm going to get deeper because this is a message right here, really, really quick in this part one. I'm going to explain how once you tap your computer plug into this universal system, everything starts to unfold and reveal itself to you. As also, you now can formulate these questions, and you can produce these answers. and a lot of the answers you won't like. So you have to be willing you have to be willing to remove those viruses. You cannot manipulate the broken system. And this is what I want to explain. Um, this is an answer for a content creator. There's content creators that a lot that come to this channel. And like I say, you can use any information that I have because we're all part of a puzzle. And the ones that do come here, I know that you're using it in the right way, because outside of using it in the right way, it literally would corrupt any system that any creator has going on their channels right now as we speak. So there was a question that was posed yesterday or maybe 2 days ago, and the question was, when we invaded Iraq, did the United States steal the Stargate? Did they take and remove the Stargate out of Iraq? Because we know that there's Stargates all over the world. There's Stargates. And these Stargates are in specific locations in specific areas. So I want to answer that question really quick because, you know, there was no answer that was given. You know, that was something that was debatable. But I want to give you the answer because I understand now how these things work. And to answer the question, did they take, well, they've been trying to duplicate Stargates all over the planet, number one. They've been trying to duplicate them. The reason that they can't duplicate them is why we have places like CERN. They have to create their own Stargate, because the ancient Stargates have to be precise. And let me say that again, it has to be precise, okay? Now, look at this notepad right here. Now I'm going to explain it really, really quick. Now this notepad looks like a regular notepad, but if I tear a page out of it, how would you know if you found this 1,000 years later? That would make this object imperfect. So when you find this a million years later, there's a chip on the notepad. It's imperfect. It will not work. And the Stargates that we have, as well as the pyramids, the reason that these objects will not work is because they are precise according to the laws of the fifth dimension. So if you can understand what I'm saying right now, then you would understand why these objects that we see on Earth so old, and you know, we know that they have, you know, they have magnetic there can be a magnetic energy measured from these sites. So we know this. However, these Stargates were intentionally destroyed, but then again, on you know, because of your content, you know this already. But I wanted to explain why it doesn't matter how many Stargates they try to duplicate, how many Stargates they try to remove or take or to possess. They will never be able to accurately repair these Stargates to the point where they can be used, because these measurements are not according to our measurements that we have here on Earth. These measurements are universal, not just this universe, but we live in a multi-universal system. But most people that are watching this, they're not going to get it. So that was an answer that was specific to, you know, that the question that was asked, when we went into Iraq, did we steal the Stargates? And the answer is no, because they earlier in civilization, they did do things like this. This is what we find during the World War I, World War II era. So they did try to, you know, possess these things and remove them block by block by block. But you can't reset them up. You cannot repair them. And the only way they can be repaired is for you to have the accurate measurements for each one of these structures. And those people are not here. Even though the ones that are here are the fallen ones, they don't have those calculations. They were never given those calculations. This is why you have places like CERN. So hopefully that was the answer for that. But again, I'm gonna explain before I end this one. The reason why I'm able to tap in to understand these things is because I no longer look at what's physical and what's biological. So if you see that I'll take you, a place where it's serene, it's peaceful, and it's beautiful, because the world that we live in is beautiful. This earth is a beautiful place. This planet was put here for us. However, we had fallen ones. Well, you call them aliens, fallen ones, or what have you. These people are here. This is why you're seeing so much unfold. Whether you believe in religion, it's Armageddon. Whether you believe in aliens, there's going to be alien human contact. And it's not soon, it's already happened. All these things took place during the Council of Nicaea, meaning that when all these religions were manipulated, that's when the Baphomet, what we would call Enlil or Enki, what we would call Enki, but the Baphomet was set up at that time. That's when the throne was set up here on earth. So when, all these scriptures talk about, all these books talk about an Antichrist, that Antichrist has already been on the throne. And the Antichrist that you're looking for, that most people are looking for in physical form, is you, is us. We are all the Antichrist, unless, like we say, we realize that this is a biological computer and that these viruses have been put in us. And we have to remove them and put a new program, and that program is love. Because each person that came here and made contact with us came here to show love, except for the fallen ones. And this is why we have the disarray. This is why we have hate. This is why we have violence. This is why we have everything else. Because before all this, the earth was a paradise. So that much we know to be true. So let's bring our earth back to a paradise and, be the best people that we can be. So with that, everyone, today's part 1 is you are a computer, a biological computer. So treat yourself, your heart, your mind like a computer to make the right decisions. And vibrations are so hard that the ground is shaking, and that's coming from maybe a quarter of a mile over, and the ground is shaking. I can feel it shaking from right here. So let me get going, and remember, have the best day, be the best person that you can be. And with that, everyone, men, women, children around the world, peace and blessings. Stay there for part 2 as well.